The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
A 6-year-old boy is dead tonight after the swing he was on fell on him, reportedly. This happened at a school this afternoon in Grand Bahama. We talk about that right now, coming up in just a little bit. Also tonight, government makes a decision on which Valley Boys Junkanoo group is the one to officially carry the name. Also tonight, a look at Turks and Caicos and its very strict immigration laws in the face of the Davis administration considering implementing a visa ban to people from Haiti. And later tonight, the youth panel and their point of view on teachers speaking out on the violation of school uniforms. It's all straight ahead for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines, Week in Review Fridays. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, police are investigating the death of a 6-year-old boy at a preschool on East Sunrise Highway. Police say the 6-year-old boy was taken to hospital following an accident at the preschool on East Sunrise Highway today, where he was later pronounced dead. The scene is obviously was very troubling earlier today as the news unfolded and everyone was informed. Investigations are continuing, and of course we expect to continue following this very sad incident and accident in Grand Bahama just today. I want to just briefly have a look and maybe get some points of view and opinions on not this incident, because obviously it's just unfolded hours ago and the investigation is now active into it, but just to talk about regulations and perhaps is there some sort of ongoing inspection to ensure that preschools where young kids are, and any facility really of public education or education in its entirety, but in preschools where young kids are and they have these various attractions just to keep them busy during the break time or at some maybe physical education time, that they are properly enforced, but that they are properly installed rather, and that the area is safe for kids that are running about, jumping off of this, jumping onto that. It's a real serious concern, quite frankly, and thing to consider and ask this evening. I'm going to bring in the Hot Topics panelists, Beyond the Headlines contributors, Leslie Miller and Michael Turnquest. Good evening to both of you gentlemen. It's good to have you both here. Really a very sad situation in Grand Bahama tonight.
Yeah, good evening, Shanique. Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
It's I'm saddened to hear, such a young child to lose their life over such a, I would say something that could, we don't know the details, but something that I feel could have been avoided. It leaves one to ask the question, like you said earlier, do we have the right, when these preschools are applying for these licenses, right, are the proper inspections being done? Exactly. You look at the U.S. and certain countries where you go visit schools where, I've had the opportunity with my nieces.
Everything is bolted down, everything.
And the proper equipment, that being not rusting, hit the right type of steel material, things. So, we need to put, if it's not in place, we need to really take a look and revamp, whether it be the regulations that govern such small preschools. Because, you go around the city today,
in Nassau, you see
a little preschool opening in a residential neighborhood, and you see all types.
No space for the playground, little cheap swings that should not be there for the kids. Exactly. Go ahead.
And this is something that all parents should really, if you're sending your child to any preschool, I don't care if it's in a house, wherever it may be, you should make sure you do your own inspection to make sure that you think that your child will be safe. Because when you're looking at a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, or even an infant being left somewhere, it's up to I understand at the end of the day, Ministry of Education and the regulators have to do their part as well, but you as a parent should also make sure
be very discerning.
Be concerning in terms of whatever it be, whether it be a male being around a female's bathroom or things of that sort. There's a lot of things that take in place, and make sure that you're leaving your child in a safe environment, whether it be from the equipment, whether it be from the people that work at the school, just to ensure that, that their safety is safe. Because that's 8 hours of the day. That's something. I mean,
Yeah,
less maybe sometimes,
yeah.
but it's a lot of
sometimes
hours. That you're leaving your child, and some persons who leave their kids up till 5 o'clock because they have to work.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's unfortunate. My condolences go to the family,
Thoughts
but
and prayers to the family.
It's very, very unfortunate tonight.
First and foremost, our hearts go out to parents and the family of that young child of 6 years old. And the question got to be asked: who are responsible for inspecting
That's it.
these the
These
whole
schools
situation,
and the playgrounds,
the
and
playground
yes.
that these kids go to school? You pay a fee to send your child to school. You expect that the proper mechanism would be in place. I see a lot of these places with very inexpensive equipment on these school decks, because behemoths want to buy the cheapest thing they could find, not knowing that a child's life could be at risk. Not only a child, anyone could be at risk. Because, it depends on how far, how you're swinging. You can swing into a fence. Yeah. If you fall off the fence, you could fall off and break your neck, depending on the height that you're taking. Is a 6-year-old should be allowed to swing in a regular swing to begin with? Or should it be a harness there that they sit in to ensure their safety?
And also, was it bolted down? It's just so many
was
questions.
Was it in place properly?
Yes.
Is it really is under the purview of the Ministry of Works? I would take the Ministry of Beach and Parks has a part to play, but more important, the school administrators. They're the ones who really run the schools. They're running the playground. What happened there? Was someone watching this kid as they swing? But furthermore, was someone there to see to it that on a weekly basis, some of the screws come loose sometime? Mm-hmm. Is someone, really going to inspect and see that these things are done? I mean, there's the lose a 6-year-old child at school. You take it to school and you got to come back and go to the morgue? That's unacceptable, man, on all levels.
And,
on all levels.
And it's unfortunate that we have to have crises or things that happen like this in order for people to wake up
do the right thing,
and either do the right thing and do their jobs that they're being paid to do. Like I said, again, there are a lot of preschools all throughout the breadth of this island and our islands that needs to be properly inspected and ensure that infants, toddlers, their safety is
paramount.
They do. Yes. That the environment is conducive to what that's supposed to be, and then to the kids having a play area, that the people are well qualified and experienced to work with kids, and of course
and
that
the equipment is worthy.
Yeah, and the equipment, well, that of course is worthy to be there and worthwhile. It's just a lot. Again, our thoughts and prayers to the family. This is
really
such
sad.
this you can imagine how they're feeling this evening. But those questions must be asked and answered. Meanwhile, gentlemen,
and the proper safeguards got to be put in place.
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
Immediately.
Absolutely, totally agree. Gentlemen, get this though. After months of ongoing legal battle and tension, you all know that tension that's been in the Junkanoo community between what was now known to be two Valley Boys groups. The government says, they said this today, it's time to turn a new leaf, because you guys know this is now going on like 2 years now, that this just been, I mean, it's the most stunning thing.
To court. I thought the court made the decision.
No, the court made its decision, but still they were not abiding by the decision and saying no. Well, the government stepped in today, meaning the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, I imagine, and says that it's only one Valley Boys. Get this, you all. And that group will be led, or is being led, by Trevor Davis. Here's Linton Ritchie Jr. with the story, and then we come back and give our opinion.
Complying with the law, there's only one Valley Boys. So if you can see, we give that one Valley Boys based on the law, on the ruling of the court, their seed funding.
Has the confusion finally come to an end? Government says all discrepancies surrounding the Valley Boys have been resolved. This as $40,000 in seed funding was handed over to the group under the leadership of Trevor Davis ahead of the upcoming Boxing Day and New Year's Day Junkanoo parades. Last year, the group made headlines after senior members Brian Adderley and Trevor Davis clashed over fiscal accountability, copyright, and other issues, splitting the once unified group into two, the world-famous Valley Boys and the Way Forward Valley Boys. After months of legal wrangling, the Supreme Court ruled that the breakaway faction, led by Davis, had legal rights to the name Valley Boys Junkanoo Group. Officials say today marks a new chapter, and they hope the ruling clears up any remaining doubt.
So all donors, sponsors, supporters, you now know who the Valley Boys are. You need not entertain anyone else when you want to support the Valley Boys.
But if the group formerly known as the world-famous Valley Boys shows up on Bay carrying the banner, Valley Boys PR officer Devon Jones says he expects law and order to prevail.
The Labor Day parade, when they were unable to parade with the banner that said Valley Boys on it, it's a shame that we have to get to that point. I'm going to leave it to the NJC and the minister to lead us.
Gentlemen, you heard it there, I tell you, but this is dragged on. I don't know if this has fueled other fights, because we all know about the other fights, but we'll get to that in a moment. But your thoughts on I guess, the ministry finally deciding, because it's now going on 2 years, they obviously were going to drag this straight into the 2026-2027 Junkanoo season. So the ministry said, pardon me, the 2025-2026 Junkanoo season. And so the ministry obviously said, you know what, since you all keep going back and forth and then questioning the court's decision and all this stuff, here's what it is. Your thoughts on how today played out?
You know, Shanique, you would think that the courts would have the ultimate say in terms of who is the group. Because at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot that I've said before to blame on the government in terms of them doing their KYC due diligence, making sure that these entities, nonprofit organizations, are properly registered, that they're receiving funds and have proper accounts and everything open.
Exactly.
It's obvious that
spending people's money,
and it's obvious this was not done. And hopefully,
and it's not been that way for years, so they were very happy and comfortable with that.
Yes, and people. So, but at the end of the day, this is the one group that has now come and has been I wouldn't say it's been exposed, but they have now the issue. The issue is now is the government going to do their right due diligence or KYC into all of these groups and said, hey, let's spend the next year before we get into Junkanoo season again. Whereas let's make sure everybody is properly registered with the AG's office. The companies are registered, proper accounts, bank accounts are open. And let's just make sure, because before we get into this issue again, because the government should not be having to step in and saying, this is the real group.
No.
Once the court made their ruling, they've been through the facts and they've basically said, hey, based on what we've seen in front of us, this is the actual registered group. This is the one that has its proper documents to be stated as whether it be the new Valley Boys or the Valley Boys, but they should be on Bay Street or an proper organization.
Yes.
This is where the government should have no interjection. The court should have its ruling. At the end of the day, if you can't abide by the court ruling, then the law enforcement should be some repercussions. The law should get involved.
Because this was a fight that just didn't have to happen.
No,
it was unnecessary. They went through the right measures and sort of we take it to court. Let the court decide. The court decided that okay, Trevor Davis, who went and registered, I think, in the name, that he is the rightful owner, and the group that he has or has been formed.
But nobody should own a non-profit. That's another thing. You're there for a short period of time, but non-profit organizations are not owned by not one individual.
No.
Well, I don't know if I said it right, but the point is he went and registered the name.
Yes, which is now, but it's still a non-profit, whereas though you're elected every year and you have elections and you have to abide by
right, it should be elections and whatnot. Leslie, your thoughts?
You know, I've been a Junkanoo all my life, and I'm so happy that Willa on the Saxon Superstars, my group, where I born through McCullough Corner, Mason Edition, has decided to side with the government and get this thing over with and move on with their lives. This has been an outstanding problem for the last 40, 50 years. The government now with this new proposed venue that they want to come with this new grouping, which the groups are now apparently decided that they will go along with, I think it's going to make a big difference. You know, you can't be giving out public funds and not having an account of the funds being accounted for.
Exactly.
You can't just give out money. And a lot of fellas in these groups, that's the problem what the Valley Boys had. The fellow with the other group wouldn't call elections for years. He refused to give any accounting of the money.
And that is not according to the non-profit organization.
Exactly, but these guys just take ownership.
Yeah.
Is like one of the leaders of the former group. As far as he's concerned, the group was owned by his daddy. because his daddy was the head of the group. But they don't own anything. It's the group, all of those persons who participate and who work hard as hell to keep those groups together. We had problems with the Saxons before. One family split from the Saxons about 20 years ago. With Darren and them, they went their way. But, we had peace.
Yeah.
Because
and
the groups get so big. That's what caused the problems.
But you look at one family, they're a well-organized machine, and they have done it right. And I've been a volley boy all my life, but I'm now ready. My brother was chairman of one family at one point, but I'm ready to jump on board at one family and just go with something that's I feel is stable.
Yeah, there's no bitterness. you just got to grow up and realize that you got to give an account.
They got to
for
get
your
it.
stewardship and refusal to do so. You're going to have these problems emanate from time to time. And the government, I guess, are ready just to have our community, to have peace, step in and say, listen, man, this enough is enough. Let's move on.
Yeah, because this would have, listen, we would have been in the season
enough.
again, and there would have still been this
Yeah,
row
right.
and
Is it?
standoff going on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Leslie, you kind of alluded to it, so let's just jump right in. The Valley Boys and the Saxons, you all remember the standoff from the JCNP saying, listen, hold up, we have stopped all work, pasting and all this practice and all that.
Right.
We've stopped it until all of the matter is sorted out with this national new Junkanoo Authority bill. And so that was a standoff there. Well, get this, what happened today. The Valley Boys and the Shell Saxon superstars say that they are standing with the government on the newly proposed Junkanoo Authority bill, which was expected to be tabled in October. I imagine this was quite a surprise. Let's take a listen.
Earlier this year, or late last year, we increased the seed funding in Grand Bahama. And so every island around the Bahamas and Junkanoo have received increase in seed funding, and we were waiting for New Providence to always to be the last because they will have the biggest share of the pie of the budget. And so we know that as we continue to invest in Junkanoo and make this our number one culture, we understand the cry of the Junkanoos and the groups and the leaders and the sacrifice that they have to put in. So it was not an easy, a hard task to make a decision to give them that increase. And as time goes on, we still believe that we're going to have to continue increasing as time goes on, especially when we implement the authority as it comes sometime next year.
We really, really need funding. Junkanoo is a very expensive undertaking. And so this will definitely help us catapult us in some areas. But there's still more monies that are needed. And so we ask in corporate Bahamas to really look at Junkanoo seriously in terms of how we're going to help these groups along, because this is our national cultural festival.
Well, we're very excited. I think our concern is going to be to maintain the quality the Valley Boys are used to. So, as you can imagine, there'll be an influx of people looking to join our ranks because I think we've set our mark after going last year without sponsorship, without support, with every roadblock you can imagine, and still we're able to perform at a level superior to most who participated, so we're very happy.
We've been in the shock for a few months now. We haven't received any sponsorship monies yet, but we're working diligently. We're looking to be very competitive this year. We do our best always.
So, gentlemen, I spoke with a Junkanooer. He was an original member of the Gus Cooper Valley Boys. Spoke with him just, I think it was yesterday. And of course, he talked about this standoff and whatever that's going on. But he said, listen, from the days when he started as one of the founding members of the Valley Boys, it was talked about, let's grow Junkanoo to the place where it can become this international festival, not only just making money locally, but to the world. You're right. You somehow build this thing that more will come. And so he sees this as something that can help assist and make that happen. But as you all know, that was totally, I guess, rejected by the JCNP for a bit.
Sinead, they say power is a,
you
know what it is. And sometimes it gets to individuals' minds, whereas though, they have done so much in these positions in terms of where they'd be traveled,
they figure
where
they own
they'd be,
it.
they figure they own it. And that Junkanoo should not be owned by an entity. It should be owned by the government of the Bahamas. If you were to ask me whether it be a group, it's not a selected group, but a selected group in terms of where they have elections, where that changes. But at the end of the day, it's a culture that belongs to the Bahamian people. It should not just belong where one group says, tell everybody don't show up, you're not doing this, and then you starve the Bahamian people.
Them if they did.
Exactly. So to me that's just utter garbage.
Yes.
So
I'm so happy that.
I'm happy to see the Valley and Saxons do that, but I want to say something before. I want to tell my Valleys, you all need to get it together, because, you know, one family got their arms open telling me, say, come on home. So they better hurry up, get it.
Valley, get it together. The
I
more
think
you
it's a
all
sense
make up and get it
of
together.
maturity too, you know, that
Yeah.
grown men and women
Yeah.
who make up these groups. Gotta act like it, man. Stop acting like kids.
Yeah.
There's too much at stake, and people love you all so much.
Yes.
Because you all make our lives so happy
Yes.
during the festive season.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, they do a lot of
and
hard
we
work.
don't want
I
you to interfere
agree.
with us. Yeah, man, a lot of work.
Yes,
But I can tell you,
absolutely.
Bahamian switch on you in a minute when you don't give them what they want.
That's right.
Absolutely. Listen, again, we're all happy that this Junkanoo thing is look like it's headed in the right direction, and that stalemate that existed for several months now, that they're moving beyond that. Yeah, that's a good thing. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this. Have you been fleeced by a business owner or a construction company or contractor? Well, this next story is for you right after the break.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. Your life just took a dark turn. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmares dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
Crack the code and win $1 million. Crack the code and win $1 million.
7 numbers, $1 million. Every 3 days, a number is revealed. Act fast. Your million is waiting.
Crack that code, win $1 million clear.
Crack the code before the last lock clicks shut. Get ready to join the winner's circle only at islandluck.com.
Crack the code and win $1 million.
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. The Consumer Protection Commission has already logged hundreds of complaints this year alone, with issues ranging from overcharging to poor service. Jesus Lord, you all could have one more complaint? This is officials' move to strengthen accountability in the marketplace. We get the story from Devontae Hanna, and then we come back and talk about it.
Nearly 200 consumer complaints have been filed so far this year, and the Consumer Protection Commission says it's cracking down on businesses accused of unfair practices.
We have lodged 190 complaints from January to August. Of these complaints, 153 were formal disputes. 25 were advisory inquiries, and 12 were referrals to other agencies.
That's Executive Chairman Senator Randy Roll confirming that more than half of these cases are now under active investigation, with hidden fees and overcharging like restocking costs and credit card charges topping the list.
Some businesses are charging automatically 20% as a service fee. Now, the law permits 15 to 20%, but that is based on your level of service. And so in some cases, consumers can challenge it if you think that the service that you receive is not 20% worth.
And the numbers keep climbing. Consumer complaints have surged from 151 in 2023 to a staggering 444 in 2024, a trend Roll says spans the entire country.
Expired items shipped to the Family Islands, undelivered goods, damaged products and poor service, as well as contractors and service providers failing to complete work.
Roll also revealing that single women make up the bulk of complainants. Beauty supply stores, contractors, and grocery chains are among the main offenders, with shipping companies and couriers still under watch.
Shipping and courier companies had the highest number of complaints in 2024, but we are starting to see a slight decline in those reports as well.
The chairman making these revelations at the Abaco Business Outlook, where he issued a sharp warning to the business community: clean up your act or face the consequences.
Fair business practices are not just good ethics, they are good economics. When customers trust you, they return.
And to help consumers fight back, Roll announcing plans for a new mobile app that will make it easier to log complaints, pledging to build a fairer, safer marketplace for all. Devontae Hannah, Eyewitness News.
So Leslie and Michael, you all heard in that story the Consumer Protection Agency, which has really been quite visible recently, saying, listen, you will not overcharge or take someone's money to render a service.
Everyday thing.
And the service never happens, or it's poor service, it's poor workmanship, and the people have to end up and coming back and spending more, losing money in the process.
You know, Sinead, you see in the U.S., in the U.S. sometimes in most states, they have a site where you can go to that the government kind of controls and says, you know, these are the, I guess, recognized businesses in terms of that doing good business or highly
Very
rated.
true.
This, that,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
You know,
Read them.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, we need to kind of either adopt or try to put in place, that being from every industry, and where persons submit their documents, you know, in terms of what they would have done, references, things of that sort, but also maybe inspectors going out and actually sitting down with consumers, sitting down with the businesses, making sure the business actually exists, make sure they have all the right prerequisites in order to say they are a contractor or to say that they're a plumber, tile, or whatever it may be. But keep this database together where consumers can go and check it out, but also keeping that up to date and following up every year or every 6 months, ensuring that these people are staying in line, or these businesses are staying in line with what they are supposed to do, rather than going contrary and overcharging individuals, not finishing their homes but still getting paid. And you know, the banks know a lot of them too. You know, the banks do a lot of business in terms of the contractors, which they know are not have a history of not completing homes and things of that sort. But this is something that needs to be put in place, because the females, you hear them complain a lot, especially in the construction business, that they are being taken advantage of. But you even have males are being taken advantage of because who don't know the industry at all.
I can tell you about it.
So it's something has to be done.
This is an old age situation in Bahamas. There are so many crooks and people already who should not have a business license.
Should not be
to
operating.
serve the public. I can give you an instance with myself. This guy came to change my cabinets, charged me so much, I gave him a deposit of $8,000. This is going to take a month. It's been 3 months. They come there about once a week, you know. It's terrible. This is a Jamaican guy. They just don't give a damn.
I was going to say,
it's the Jamaican.
It's the Bahamians,
the Jamaican and the Bahamians and the Asian, all of them now.
They caught onto the scheme.
The same barrel of crooks.
Jesus.
Man, you get some of these fellas, they show up on your job site to be able to fix let's say a walk-in cooler, walk-in freezer. Yeah. At one point it was working okay. By the time as they leave, compressor burning up or something.
Right now my fridge is not working. I went to General Appliance for the last 3 weeks. I don't even have a fridge working. You know,
You
the
got
guy
more.
robbed the refrigerator, the Haitian, we have robbed the refrigerator, messed up the back piece of it. I go to General Prime, Mr. Miller, the fella break something, then he took it off. How long is it going to take? About 2 weeks.
Man, you know what? Consumer protection, you all step up and listen. Who ain't supposed to be in business? That's what. Just take it a step further.
Create a database.
Create a database.
This the do's and the don'ts.
The do's, no, man, no.
The who's and
No. Who are the best performers and who to stay away
But
from?
listen,
That's
what you got to
y'all have
realize
do.
now, 90% of the women in this country always taken advantage of.
Yes.
And they sick and tired of it. Guy will come to you, I'm a contractor. This fella's a 2-bit mason. Never built a house in his life. One wall going one way, the next wall going the other way. And there's a new thing they're doing. Because I got caught up in it. A fella want to come to do the work and he want 50% down.
For services.
You hear me? Eh?
There should be no reason. I'll say this.
Oh, no, Mike. No, you services. You buying all the material.
But labor.
He's providing labor.
Right. There should be
I
no
say,
reason to give any
give you
deposit
how
for
much?
labor.
50%, I say, for what? Pot cake. That's what, of course, I can't tell you what I tell him. But we get caught up in it. I got caught up in it one time. All you got to do is a bunch of crooks.
Yep.
You got to be so careful, ladies.
Don't know what the dickens they're doing.
Gotta be careful, man.
I have done a lot of project management on construction jobs, or even for clients, and I've always said, if you're giving a labor quote, there's no need for 50% deposit
For what?
to mobilize
No
you for
deposit.
what? First of
For
all,
what?
show up the work. Do something. Now, if you're giving me a labor and material quote, then
Exactly.
yeah, just separate
I'm
them,
buying the material.
and maybe I'll give you a mobilization to start
Okay.
getting some material to get the job going. But there should be no reason for 50% deposit on labor that you haven't even started yet. But you got to put, I put $100 gas in your truck if you needed to come to work.
But you want to know
But
what
this-
is becoming overbearing now? I was at Super Value this morning buying something. And I go to the counter with about 6 items. And I said, put them in my bag for me. Mr. Miller, you want to buy one bag? I
Oh,
said,
the ba- oh,
no,
Leslie.
the lady's on the side of me.
Those
Said,
bags
Mr.
are
Miller,
free.
say something on our behalf. I said, listen, I was Minister of Trade and Industry when this thing started. And we had all the parameters to deal with the food stores. When we say we don't want no more plastic, they were supposed to switch to paper, you know.
Switch back to paper?
To paper, yes. Because paper is biodegradable.
I know one thing.
You were supposed to have paper.
my dear Leslie,
And
they have-
hold on.
they have
The
changed
only
the
people
game.
that give you paper, provide you with paper bag, unfortunately, is the gas stations. You go next door, they will give you a paper bag.
The food source.
The food source has a responsibility to provide their customers with bags, paper bags like we used to do before.
No, sir. They
The
have
reason
changed
why
the
we
game.
switched to plastic. Well, look how stupid it is.
They catch me every time.
I go in the States, and you go shopping at Walmart.
Plastic.
I can't say I steal, but I rob 50 of the damn bags to put in my bag, right?
Everybody take
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
grab
bags.
the bag.
Yeah, we take extra
I got
bags.
bags, right?
If you go missing tomorrow, you know what happens.
You still using the United States using the plastic.
They
We
using the
stop
plastic?
using the plastic. There's no replacement for it, and people telling you buy a bag.
Yep. all in some sense.
I just came from a gas station. Most of the gas stations in this country now don't offer you no water, and they don't offer you any air. Now, we amended the law back in 2006, I think, when it was really outrageous. Today, I went to a gas station. There's no air. I said, Chief,
You used to have
what
to pay
happened
for
to
it.
air?
You used to put, and then they go to the
I
machine
said,
turn on.
we ain't get none. You go to the next gas station. Air. I said, what the hell is going on? Do you know that their license can be suspended for that? It's mandatory that they have water and air on their compound.
Who knows that?
It is
But shouldn't-
mandatory.
who knows that?
It
But
is
shouldn't this fall under
mandatory.
the consumer
It is
protection?
mandatory.
Who's responsible to see that this happens and enforce it?
That's the Ministry of Economic Affairs. Michael Keaton knows. Because they're responsible for all the gas stations. It is mandatory. And they don't do it anymore. I went on most of the gas stations, 8 out of 10 of them don't provide you with water or air.
No, you got to go
Under
to,
their
you
license,
now have to
they
go to
are
the-
responsible for the government
You
to
now
suspend
must
their
go,
license.
Leslie and
I'm
Michael,
asking
to
Michael
the
Dole,
tire shops.
get your people to check
The
these
tire
people out
shops.
and
I don't know,
suspend the damn license.
You can get your tire pass, but you can't get.
Okay.
You can't get a water.
Their license must be suspended.
Gentlemen, I'll tell you this. Suspend license there. Every gas station who will stop serving air
I'm telling
and
you.
water, please. Let's jump into this really quickly. You all know this week, in fact, this show kind of teased it, and I was very happy because the following day the Prime Minister said and sort of just confirm what it is I put out there by well-placed sources that, listen, this administration is looking strongly into banning on a temporary basis. Don't know how long that period is. It's still being worked out. Visas granted to persons
And also
from Haiti.
citizenship too, eh?
Well, all of that, all level of visas.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
Right.
listen, before we talk about it, y'all think,
Louis George
see,
and the boys.
you be playing. Here's what Turks and Caicos is doing. Take a look at this.
U.S. ICE-inspired type raids are being captured by civilians on camera. In traffic, illegal migrants are abandoning their cars. They are running from their homes. They are being picked up from work sites, and they are being stopped on the waters. The recently commissioned border force of the Turks and Caicos Islands and its partners, including the TCI Regiment, has doubled down on the mission of rooting out those in the country illegally, and it is captivating the nation and met with widespread praise. Sometimes it gets dangerous. Look at this lady run from her tiny apartment across the busy highway, her toddler in hand, hanging. She tries to get into a vehicle, but armed law enforcers win the chase. The rocketing crime statistics in this once virtually crime-free British overseas territory and the problem of gangs infiltrating and blossoming within the islands and terrorizing communities has reached fever pitch. It is so bad, the Turks and Caicos, with its 45,000 residents, has again been named the murder capital per capita of the Caribbean region.
Because we have no choice but to do it, because we cannot allow the country to get any further out of our hands as it is. There's significant development taking place. There's been a lot of growth. We've had an opportunity to bounce back from COVID-19. But we have to corral this country in a manner in which it benefits primarily Turks and Caicos Islanders.
The message now is clear. If you do not belong in the Turks and Caicos Islands, stay away.
You all heard that. The message is clear. If you do not belong in the Turks and Caicos Islands, stay away. That, what you saw happening right there in Turks and Caicos, is being mirrored everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Europe, the United States.
Yep, several countries in Europe.
London,
the United
Britain,
Kingdom,
all
of it. Listen, you
Ireland,
all, as we hear the Prime Minister say what the government is looking to do and ensuring that it's done properly and strategically, when you watch that, what do you say the Bahamas must do?
You know, you look at that and you would say, we're not serious, you know. You know, we've seen this, Turks and Caicos are looking at a small islands like us, and they've said, you know something, the Bahamas is out of control. Let's not get there. We could have looked at Miami many decades ago and said, Miami is not the old Miami we know, because at the end of the day, you can't go into Miami and go in any Walmart without trying to speak Spanish.
That's right.
So my thing is, we are now becoming a country in the Bahamas where as though we go certain places and they expect us to speak Creole.
Analysis.
Like I said, I have no issue with Haitians. I want you here legally and doing right by the Bahamas and basically uplifting our country and making it better for Bahamians, and maybe for you might want to decide you want to have a family or extend your stay here. But at the end of the day, we have to be serious about making opportunities for Bahamians. You have illegal foreigners putting a strain on our education system. You heard the young man talk about it. We have on our medical system. On our NHI, National Insurance System. It's a burden on us, not because of Bahamians, you know. Because we're not the ones, if you see like statistics, Bahamians are not having children like what we used to.
No.
The Haitians are.
That's our problem.
And that's the issue. We're putting an unnecessary burden because governments are not taking responsibility to ensuring that they look out for Bahamians and ensuring that we really protect and take the same extreme measures that might be needed in order to clean up the mess that they have already allowed to happen over decades and decades in time. Something has to change.
Right.
Listen, how do you expect a country of 250,000 Bahamians, organic as they call them, to be responsible for a country with 9.5 million people? How the hell do you expect it? What you expect? You need water to carry your load? We've been doing it for 100 years. I listened to this guy, Louis George. I want to say something. Okay? The guy on on another
Leslie,
show.
Leslie, he called me for you yesterday. by the way.
Bragging.
He want to talk to Leslie.
He wants to talk to Leslie.
Yeah, because he want to run. So,
Run where?
So
Run
the
where?
man say, but
you mean run?
you ain't born here. Say, but I got passport just like you.
See, and this is the issue.
I got passport just like you. I don't know where the hell you get it from, but I got see, why is it that people like them who be educated, who we give a better life to and make them really, they got doing well financially. Don't you think if you have a love for your country, why would you not go back and make it better? You have an opportunity to be someone big in your country, to have your children and grandchildren, give them a better future. What prevents you all, especially the pastor who was here? I was here tonight. I'd hate to hello them.
You leave the pastor. Okay? You leave the pastor.
This guy got a lot of nerves. I mean, the guy said, don't send nobody back. Even the legals. Who the hell is supposed to be, man? We gotta stop it. I thank God for Loftus Roker. You know, let me tell you a story. Years ago, at Hotel Old West, the
Wyndham?
Tingham Beach. No. It break down now where Nassau Beach Hotel used to be. Okay? There was a fella there, came in from Alabama. And he was head of the kitchen and everything. And he called one of the Bahamian women a nigger. See, all just like them lazy American niggers. And somebody called Mr. Hanna, I'll never forget. Mr. Hanna went there himself with the director of immigration. Say, Chief, get your bags. You're on the way to the airport. Never to come back to this country. The Honorable Clementine Maynard, someone in Freeport, and Guy O'Pride's Island. The same thing has happened to them. You got to protect what is yours, or they can take it from you. These guys are getting too biggity, too presumptuous. And please, Bahamians with this cheap labor garbage. You hear them talk about, the Bahamians bringing them here for cheap labor. Let me tell you something. The average helper, Haitian, gets $60 a day. The Masons, $120 a day. The tile layer, $120 a day. They make more money than the Bahamians. I see Bahamians now are their damn helpers. We got to do something about it. We can't carry the load. We don't hate them nobody. We love them. They are brothers and sisters. But we cannot be responsible for a country that has 1,000 times people we got. What you expect, man? Give us a break. Give us a break. Turks and Caicos showed us. This is what we got to do. I was sorry that this lady was running across the street with a little baby in her hand and almost got it down. That shouldn't be necessary.
But you all, this is also a position of CARICOM. There are several countries in the region who this week, the news came out, are taking similar measures. And so obviously this is something we will continue to follow. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
I'm meant to consider the fact.
The Bahamas is the premier destination for fly fishing because of its unique geography.
We've got the third largest barrier reef in the world in the Bahamas.
We have the largest aggregation of mangroves in the Western Hemisphere.
Which simply means we've got the largest marine biodiversity than anywhere else in the world.
I am unapologetic about Bahamians being owners in our #1 industry.
We should not just say it, we should have it enacted into certain policies.
The Bahamas Fly Fishing Industry Association was instrumental in the 2017 sports fishing legislation. Anyone fishing in the Bahamas who's going to be guiding has to be certified and licensed, and thirdly, they have to be a Bahamian.
And that is historic in that a model of conservation and a model for Bahamianization has been legislated, the only one in the country.
But it also gives Bahamians the opportunity with a sense of pride to know that at the end of the day, I'm contributing to the development of my country and something they can pass on for generations.
The out island of Bahamas, there are no other alternative industry that generates the kind of revenue that fly fishing does. The entire community benefits.
I would always encourage the tourists, people who want to fish, hire a local guide.
The guides in the Bahamas are some of the best trained fly fishing guides in the world. You know it because you see the results in terms of the kinds of fishing they're doing. They're catching the largest bonefish, the largest tarpon, largest permit. That is unique. So this is the lure to all the anglers internationally coming who thinks of the Bahamas as #1 destination for fly fishing in saltwater.
I'm really excited about this initiative that SPTC has brought forth for the fishermen.
If you have great guides and
terrible boats and engines and nothing working and all this. You could be the best in the world and people still have a terrible experience because they could not have a good day on the water.
I think one of the greatest things is to have access to quality capital, but not only having access to the capital, but terms and conditions related to the capital, so we encourage growth and expansion of the industry and professionalism within the industry because of the resources being at hand and having proper guidance.
It'll be a greater impact and they'll have a better experience.
And I foresee it being an opportunity that the guys are taking advantage of in terms of the opportunities for education, awareness, and resources. You always need to advise people, inform them, and then equip them. And so I think this process is essential because it allows those skill sets that are needed in a changing economy and environment, how they could then keep up with operating their small business.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
6 commercial vehicles? Call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you join us. We're now going to shift to our youth panel and talk about just what you heard us speak about in the last segment, of course, immigration and the government's plan, or they are certainly discussing the talks of limiting and, in fact, a temporary ban on visas to people coming out of Haiti. Well, we want to hear the youth opinion on that. And so we're going to jump right in right there. Aaron Jones joins me now. Aaron, good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you here.
Good evening, Shanique, and good evening, Bahamas. Thanks for having me once again.
We have discussed this at length in the last segment all week long and last week, but we've not heard what young people or how young people feel about government's plans to impose a temporary ban on issuing visas to people coming out of Haiti. Your thoughts and what your grouping, your group of first-time voters and the youth element, what are their thoughts on this idea?
Well, Shanique, let me first say this. Immigration is not something that we can play political football with. You know, it's a very rising concern and a very rising issue. When you look at the population of Haiti, as opposed to the Bahamas, they have a couple million people as residents or, birthrights of Haiti. We don't even have 500,000. So what young people are thinking is, if the government is able to facilitate the need of that amount of immigrants, right?
Yeah.
And then you also think now, the Bahamas does not have the facilities even to handle that influx of persons coming in to receive visas. So it's something you have to pay very close attention to, and youth have been paying attention to it. Even before the U.S. released a statement that Haitians should come to the Bahamas to get whatever done. The Bahamas has seen some factors that relate, to Haitian immigration. And I have to make this very clear. I don't have any issue against any Haitians. I don't have issues against any, other form of immigration. However, I believe that there's a right way that we should be doing things.
Yeah.
You have to think about the future of our country, our young people, our economic system, our finance system. These are things you have to consider.
Now listen, I want to quickly, because we do have the main issue we came to discuss, and that's of course the changing face of how students are showing up on school campuses, particularly public school campuses where teachers are now speaking out of concern. But I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on how strict and firm Turks and Caicos has been on this illegal immigration issue as our government now considers imposing similar measures?
Listen, I applaud Turks and Caicos for what they're doing. It also was, someone sent to me a new release from CARICOM that states that
several countries.
Right. Several countries are implementing strict laws to crack down. Yes. And what I'm saying is I applaud that, because what they're doing is protecting their citizens, they're protecting their country, they're protecting, most of all, their history.
Yes.
Because as you allow more immigrants and more different sectors to come in, you are changing the history of the country.
Yes.
So that crackdown, I support that 100%.
Okay, of course, we will talk about this further as we continue to move. One of our bright minds here, Aaron Jones, of course, he makes up a part of the youth panel. You hear from them from time to time. But let's talk about this, Aaron, because I really want to hear your views on this and what your friends, of course, Aaron is one of those first-time voters. He is very active in whether it's the political sphere, just really paying attention and has opinions and thoughts about a number of things happening. Get this, though, a veteran educator is speaking out tonight. She's speaking out and as he makes demands for students to step in line while pushing back against critics who says that he is a part of the problem. We get the story from Jose Etienne, and then Aaron, I want to hear your thoughts on this whole discussion about where uniforms and showing up to school in a proper fashion have now gone in the Bahamas.
Students getting sent home. Soon you all getting sent home. It's long line.
That video generating lots of buzz online, eliciting mixed reaction from residents who were of the view that those Doris Johnson Senior High School students lined up outside the school compound on Tuesday after 9 a.m. were facing disciplinary action because of their hairstyle. But the public school's principal, Kent Lightburn, is confronting the misunderstanding.
Those students were not being held outside of the school because of their hair. The primary issue that we had with them was that they were coming to school late.
Just 3 weeks into the fall semester, Lightburn says there has been unacceptable levels of tardiness from students.
When you're late with just a few minutes, we deal with that. But when you get to be an hour, half an hour, 2 hours late, then we call the parents to try to figure out why is your child late. And just to inform them that they're late, because a lot of parents don't know that their child is late.
And the reason why that's such a pressing concern that he says cannot go unaddressed.
This spills over to the examinations. They get late to the exams. They're PGCSE, they miss papers because they come late. Those students they would have missed almost a whole first period.
Lightburn says students are also breaking the school rules by altering their uniform.
They cut the shirt short because they want the shirt to be out of their pants. And this is something that is nationwide. This is a short shirt now. It matches with the skinny leg pants and all of this. They have exposed tattoos. We are asking them to wear a sleeve to cover up those tattoos. And we're really asking parents not to allow children to have tattoos. The footwear that they have on, we want children to wear regular school shoes.
Now, the veteran educator is ripping apart the argument that school executives are clinging to antiquated policies that have little to no bearing on students' learning, insisting that teenagers must abide by the rules, similarly to how they would have to when they enter the real world.
I shouldn't have an issue with wearing the proper shoes because shoes doesn't have anything to do with education. But they insist and they promulgate this idea that they have to have this or they have to have that. The main reason why we are against these type of things that people consider to be small, minuscule matters is because it promotes bullying. Talking about the tags on the bags. The one time ago it was the monkeys, now it's the dollars and all of this. Children steal them.
And so it boils down to a simple plea. Lightburn says parents must partner with educators as they enforce discipline and promote education.
We want the best for their children.
Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Okay, come back out here now. Aaron, I want to pick that up with you because adults have their opinions on this. This has been widely discussed on social media, but I want to know, how do you, as a recent graduate, soon to be a first-time voter, but somebody who pays attention to the issues in the Bahamas, and then, of course, your peers, you all get together in various groups and have discussions on any number of issues. What are your thoughts on the fact that this principal is bringing, and others, we've had stories this week as well, bringing attention to how kids are now showing up on school campuses?
Well, Shanique, let me first say this. I don't do anything without doing extensive research, without conducting, conversations and interviews and whatever else. Even within this past week or two, I released a form where young persons could voice concerns and give their 5 cents on the matter. So when I speak, I'm not just speaking of my own thoughts and my own opinion, but I also share others' opinions as well. And what I'm realizing here, let me firstly say, there are many different viewpoints. You have some parents who agree, you have some parents who are furious, you have some students who are mad, some students who agree, and then of course you have the educators and principal side, right? How I look at this is, first of all, let me just say, I believe in rules and regulations, right? These are not new rules that the school have just implemented this week or this month. These rules have been in the public school handbook for years. They've been abiding by these rules. The parents and the grandparents have been abiding by said rules for the history of the schools, right? However, I stand with youth when they say that there's a way that they should be handled and treated.
Well, how are they saying it should be handled?
So watch this, Nick. Someone forwarded me a Facebook thread. I don't recall which government high school it was, but the principal or the administrator took a picture with the students after taking them to the barber. She got their haircut. But what really got me was the comment. The comment she made, or he, and it was a she. She said they came in looking like gangsters and hoodlums. Well, now we have them looking like proper students ready to learn.
Okay,
right?
so what's wrong with that? Tell me.
Now what I will say, Shanique, what does high hair, how does high hair make you a gangster, right? Many young persons in this poll I made had many concerns about that. Me having high hair does not make me a gangster or a murderer or a criminal.
Was
right?
it just an afro? Because I did not see it. So was it just an afro or that
yes.
uncombed, unkept look that's just edged around the edge of these boys' hair?
Right, yeah, so it was the high afro with the taper around the end and the shape up around the back and the front and whatever else as well.
And the rest of it unkept, like that style?
Some
Okay.
unkept and some kept, yeah.
Yeah. But Aaron, see, this is where you all get it wrong, and your generation believe you all are smarter, and that somehow people must adjust. And I'm not specifically talking because we could see how you present yourself. You actually one of the ones who can get somewhere and go somewhere. And so for parents and your teens out there who feel as though, get with the times, it's a different era, and come on, we showing up to school, right? No, you can't show up anywhere else like that. There are borders, rules, regulations for every single thing. A house has borders and rules and regulations. You can't play in and out of a house. Either you're in or you're out. Getting to the classroom, there is a requirement for how you show up and how you look.
Right.
I've seen many of those types hairstyles, and many of them are unkept because, of course, the look is not to have it combed, but to have it just neatly, as you say, tapered, which is how the boys now figure they can show up at school. No, you can't. You're a student.
Right. And see, even Shanique, and like I said, I wasn't fully standing with them, right? But it's good to acknowledge all sides, right? And
There's
even
no sides in this, Aaron. There's no sides. If you want sides, go and homeschool your kid, or you, a 16, 15-year-old teenager, go school yourself. There's no sides. Show up as you should. You are a student, underaged. You are now have been accepted into an institution to get learning. That should be how about put that energy, the energy you're trying to look cool and all this stuff, put that into learning to spell and count and get math and English right.
Right, and on the next side, a next viewpoint I looked at as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I emphasized with some principals who spoke to me on this as well within the past week. They said the more that you allow these things to happen, the more you allow the different bag accessories and the different brand shoes and the brand pants and the crop top shirts and whatever else, the more you allow it to happen, you create a bigger room for bullying. because we know how young people are. If you don't have the latest thing, if you don't got the biggest thing, you are now a victim of bullying possibly.
I am
And it's
wondering,
something-
Aaron, which household these kids leave from every morning. See, that's important. Parents have got to start parenting again because you are creating spawns who are becoming a distraction and a nuisance in society. If they cannot abide by these rules and regulations, then what else are they to do when they graduate high school? How are they then to adjust to different norms and different rules and regulations? You can't walk in a bank or somewhere with the rest. Yes, it's been relaxed somewhat, and perhaps you can have, let's say, for example, locks on a job now, and as long as it's properly maintained and neatly maintained. But the point is, though, there are still rules and guidelines and expectations wherever you go in life. I want to quickly ask you, Aaron, before we wrap up, also this week, something that came forth, and this is Ministry of Education Director and teachers are saying that they are burdened by the fact that there are students now showing up in their classrooms unable to speak English. What's the youth saying about that? Or should we just see it as a nation that's changing and that there are more flavors now in this nation?
I believe change needs to happen the right way. Okay, we can't just make excuses for change and let it progress continually. There has to be public and proper policy analysis and policies change, right? I spoke with some teachers. Like I said, I conducted my own research, man. I had interviews and I spoke with some teachers in the government education system who have said in certain areas like Carmichael, in public schools in that area, some of their classes are 40% Haitian now, right? And like I said, this is not a thing against Haitian. This is not personal. This is about preserving the Bahamas, right? And now it's spilling into the education system where teachers are spending some more time teaching English to students who, and then don't keep in mind now, these teachers don't speak Creole. Right?
No.
So they're now teaching English to students who need to learn English while that's not on the subject list. And it's now taken away from the Bahamians who have a right to be here from years. They have their birthright, they were born here, their family here, and whatever else. Right? So it's very important to look at that.
So it's a distraction. It's also something that is causing the other students to lag behind and not be as perhaps as progressive as they can be in the classroom, because the teacher has to now split her time, as you said, with trying to get a bunch or some element of the classroom to just be able to understand English.
Right. So even now our teachers, the Bahamas already has an issue with educators, right? So now this is even more of a burden and especially I realize in the lower level of education, in the primary schools, you see more of this happening. Our educators are being somewhat overburdened and overloaded with this high demand that they did not sign up for.
Yeah, it really is quite troubling to see, quite frankly. But, you know, I'll tell you, as we wrap up, this week, the Progressive Liberal Party observed its 4th year in office for this term, this Davis administration term. What do the young people feel about the performance of this government, this administration, in 4 years?
So I've also been doing a lot of conversations on the social media platforms like TikTok and Facebook, and I've been interacting with some influencers, they call them, that have been making a lot of political TikTok videos or whatever videos that kind of assess this. So we have young people who are more rising up now and interested in these things. And I saw a lot of persons highlight the PLP's church service over the past weekend, Sunday. Listen, I wasn't so much focusing on that. What I'm focusing on right now is what is the current government doing for the Bahamas, where we've been in 2021 compared to where we now. And I really feel that the Bahamian people are not really so much anymore interested in political games and political banter, and I personally am not, right? So what the serious young person is asking now is, what have you done for us? And what will you continue to do for us, right? And now you see all these political forces rising up. You see the FNM rising up higher. You see the COI rising up higher. You see them campaigning. You see them doing things. You see some little petty debates between all the parties. You can't avoid that, right? But what the real intentional young person, the real young voter is thinking, what are you going to do for the country?
I'll tell you this, Aaron, as I want to pick up this discussion. Of course, Aaron is a part of the youth panel, and I only cut him off because, of course, I've gotten the signal from about 3 minutes ago now to wrap up. So, Aaron, certainly I look forward to picking up that discussion right there from the first-time voter point of view and what they feel needs to be done. Also, and again, the government's performance. Is the government sort of meeting you all where you are at in terms of creating opportunities for young people? We'll pick this discussion up very, very soon. I thank you very much, Aaron, for joining me here on Beyond the Headlines. Pleasure having you hang out all week long, and I look forward to seeing you right back here on Monday evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Have a blessed weekend, everyone.